Hello guys and girls, it's been somewhat of a long time since I have uploaded a draft. I've not been recording as much because I've not been drafting as much, although with the Theros release I did get back into it in a big way. However, it is not going well. You'll see that I've entered a Swiss draft as opposed to a 4-3-2-2, which is my draft of choice. But this is a kind of teach me, tell me video. I'm uploading it for one of the guys that I quite often deck test with, who is doing extremely well in the Theros Draft format, and I basically want him to advise me on my picks, or maybe my plays when I record the matches later on. The set is phenomenal. I mean, I've got 2 standard decks at the moment. I never played standard, it was modern or draft. I love the sealed format, and modern just held so much potential. But for the first time since playing an Astro Slide deck, which was Onslaught, which isn't even modern legal, I mean that's gone back an awful long time. That's this is the first time I've played competitive standard or type 2 Magic, and it's because the standard format at the moment is so diverse. There's so much potential with the devotion cards, so I'm really enjoying that. But I am being extremely sincere when I say that my draft rating has suffered.
What?
I'm recording. If you've watched my videos during the Avison draft format and also the Return to Ravnica format, you'll see that I did pretty well. I didn't have to put physical money into this for a very long time, but it has properly plummeted. We're just about to ding here, so once we ding I'll show you what it's sitting at. In the last video I uploaded, it was probably around about the 1850 region, which is pretty solid. However, now we're sitting at 1558, which is pretty poor. Right, so 2 pick 1. We've opened somewhat of a bombish rare here. It flies, it makes lots of other flyers, it's going to be a game winner. I think this is pretty much the pick in this pack. None of the uncommons appeal to me particularly much. I do like the Death Touch Spider, the Lash of the Whip springs out to me. So I think if the Abhorrent Overlord wasn't in this pack, I'm probably going to pick up the Lash of the Whip here. Although I also like the Nimbus Naiad, because it's one of the more affordable bestow creatures and it gives a creature evasion. Also having evasion itself if you do have to roll it out in turn 3. Nothing else screams out to me in this pack. I'm disappointed that I'm passing the Lash of the Whip, but the pick here has to be the Abhorrent Overlord, and obviously that's going to be leaning me towards playing black. Now with pack 2, the rare's been taken. The Flamecast Wheel I've never picked. Nemesis of Mortals I could make an argument for picking first. The Ordeal of Thassa is good, but sometimes it's a bit slow. In terms of the commons here, I'm going to pick the Lash of the Whip, because removal doesn't tend to table. Scry the Bones Read the Bones is good in that it lets you scry and then draw the 2 cards that you scried for. In terms of pickability in this pack, here my first pick is going to be the Whip. If the Whip wasn't there, it would be the Nemesis of Mortals, probably followed by the Minotaur. Yeah, Lash of the Whip, followed by the Nemesis, and Read the Bones, but Lash of the Whip's the pick. So on our third pick, we've got the Emissary. I really like the Emissary cards. I think they are very strong, particularly the red and white ones. The red one that means your opponents can't attack with less than 2 blockers, and the white one means you can tap down an opponent's creature, apart from making your guy huge. An extra +3/+3 is monstrous. In terms of black cards in this pack, we've got the Loathsome Catobolus, who I'm not impressed by, and much of the Returned, which also I'm not impressed by. The commons, we get some pickable cards. The Omnispeaker's nice for searching, giving you some sort of card advantage. Breaching Hippocamp I like, but it doesn't have flying. I really feel as if it should. Savage Sword's a great wee trick if you're going for a heroic, which I'm not. I'm going to pick up the Emissary here. I don't know if I should take the black creature just because it's black and I really want to build up to Devotion, but this is just too strong to pass in my opinion. And we're also getting it third, so it suggests that sitting to my right are not playing blue. Now in this pack we've got a Fanatic of Mogis, which is unfortunate, because he's a very strong card and it would make me lean towards drafting a red deck, which is good because I tend to be quite an aggressive player. We've got the Harpy in black, which is a 3 mana 2/1. Each player loses 1 life. We've also got the Vaporkin in blue, which is 2/1, it can only block flyers, and the Hexproof Idiot, who's not an idiot, he's just a big guy. Not too enamoured with the wall. I mean, this is more important if you're going for a kind of late game strategy. I'm going to take the Harpy here. Although the Vaporkin gets me damage in earlier, the Harpy is black, which is going to go with my theme for the Aberrant Overlord. So here we picked up Witch's Eye, which again, it's slow, I wouldn't use it. The ability to scry each turn is good, however it costs mana, so I'm not too keen on it. We've got the Cavern Lampet, who gives a guy Intimidate, or is a 2/2 with Intimidate himself. We've got the Tormented Hero, Time to Feed, which is awesome green removal, and the Dryad, who I also like. The Dryad is possibly, I think I'm correct in saying that's the cheapest bestow creature. I'm going to take the Lampad here because he's black, he's better than the 2/1 for 1 in my opinion, and he's got a bit of upside. So here we've got quite a few cards that I like actually. The Emissary, like I said before, pretty much all upside. The Chimera, which is a solid card in that it comes into battle as a surprise for your opponent. This is pretty much removal in a white deck because most decks are going to run something with Bestow. An enchantment and destruction can kill that creature. Act of Treason with Scry, I think each red deck should run one of these, and this guy helps green curve out, but my pick here is the Emissary. Something that I'm also aware of here is that I am cutting black quite heavily from the guy to my left, so I am hoping that I get past some good black cards back. So in this pack, Peak Eruption's unpickable, so is Balderfall. Traveller's Amulet's not too bad, it's going to thin my deck, it's going to find me land if I get stuck for it. However, Read the Bones is just a stronger card here. It's going to give me a bit of card advantage, which I think is often underestimated in draft. The Satire, again, it gives you a solid boost, however it's not in my colours, and the other 3 I'm really not interested in. So we're going to take Read the Bones. Now here we have some options. So we've got the Shipwreck Singer, Rescue from the Underworld, which although I've used this card incorrectly twice so far because I didn't read it properly on each occasion, and it's yet to do anything substantial for me. I'm sure it's got the potential to be phenomenal, but it's just not been for me. The Hoplite Again, I think this is a bad card. The Disciple I like, it happens a bit late, but it would help with Devotion. I'm going to take the Singer here because he's a 2-drop. He's going to help me dictate the course of battle. So hopefully we can have my opponent's creatures attacking into some of my bigger creatures. So this is what's getting the first pack back, and we've got the Fleshwood Steed, which is a 2 mana for 2/2, but all it has is downside with its ability. Or we can take the Tormented Hero, who's going to help us curve out, and he's got a bit of an upside. So when it gets to this stage and we're picking up the sort of dregs of the pack, I'm looking to take the least useful card, the most useful card to my opposition, if there's nothing directly for me. So we could take this in the hope that we are kind of preparing for going blue if we do choose to go that way. As it stands, I'm going to take the Unknown Shores because it's going to give me a wee bit of fixing, and it also means that I can splash this guy, even if I decide to go green or red or whatever else in pack 2. I think this guy's probably worth a splash. In terms of this pack, I'm going to take the guy just in case it gets to that stage where I'm looking to make up creatures, and we're going to take the enchantment because it's in our colours. It might make the deck at this stage, I hope it doesn't. Now I'm going to take the 0/4 here because that's more of a problem to me than the 1/2 is, and also the destroy target enchantment because I do have quite a few enchantment creatures. So that was pretty good first pack. I mean, we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11 decent picks, and look at this, we have just opened up a Master of the Waves. I already have a playset of these, so this isn't a pick based on its value, which I think is about 12 tickets at the moment, but it is going to be the pick here. Other cards of note, we've got another Red Emissary, phenomenal card. We've got the Nimbus Naiad, which I would like to pick up now. The Aqueous Form is also another strong card. The Eidolon, another strong card. In Voyage's End, I'd see this more as a 22nd or 23rd card, but the pick here is definitely the Master of Waves, and now I'm going to be looking to pick up some more substantial blue. The problem now is that I'm almost building towards 2 different devotions, so Fod, you can let me know if I should, based on this pick, what I should do. Should I be still leaning towards drafting heavier black or heavier blue? So another Emissary, this is possibly my favourite one. Now, cards of note here, we've got the Lampwood and the Eidolon. We've also got the Wingsteed Raider. This I have no problems first picking if the pack is not get anything substantial to offer me in terms of commons, non-commons. I also like this because it triggers Heroic twice. However, I'm not going for Heroic. The pick here, I mean, it's any one of these 3 creatures. I'm going to take the Omnispeaker in the hope that, because I've drafted black so heavily, one of these 2 guys comes back to me, which I think there's a good chance that it will. So, into this next pack. Now let's just have a quick recap of what my guys are doing here. So, I've got 2, 2, 4, a couple of 5-drops, a 6-drop. I like the Phalanx dude here. I also like Sea God's Revenge. This is a bit of a blowout actually. 3 target creatures to their opponent's hands, scry 1. Yeah, this is just going to open up the door for bad things to happen to my opponents. We're passing a Freaka's Cure, which is removal. However, again, I'm hoping that because I've drafted black so heavily, there's not many other people playing with it. We're passing the Stone Shot Giant, who can just win games on his own. A Rage of Perforus, which is red removal. You know, it's pretty much as good as it gets. I also don't mind the Minotaur because he's just a big stupid guy. So we're taking the Seaguard's Revenge. We've got a Dark Betrayal. We've really got nothing in this pack actually. Can you shut that door over? So we have the Wall. When it enters the battlefield, I can return target instant or sorcery from my graveyard to my hand. This may be beneficial with the likes of Lash of the Whip or Sea God's Revenge, possibly, but again, that's looking for a longer game. The only other option for us is destroy target black creature, which is going to be pretty narrow at this point, because hopefully we're the only guys that are black. Yeah, I'm going to pick this up, mainly because it's a bad card against us. So what have we got in terms of playability here? We've got another Lash of the Whip, we've got the Born of Erebos, which I don't mind if I have heroic guys, however I don't. And we've also got the Cutthroat Maneuver, which is between the Cutthroat Maneuver and the Lash of the Whip. Do we take a trick or removal? I mean, this is going to add up to removal some of the time, or do we just take the hard and fast removal? Let's go for the hard and fast removal because it's not going to table, the other guy could. So we get Colossus. We're definitely not playing the sort of deck that wants to run a Colossus here. We could take the Minotaur. We could take... No, we couldn't take this. So the options here are between the Minotaur and the Hippocamp. Now, in terms of devotion, Master of the Waves really isn't looking too powerful at the moment. We've only got devotion for 4 blue, which is probably going to be enough if I get them all out, to be honest. I do think if I'm going to stick with the devotion strategy, the Minotaur is a better pick. However, this is just, it's got upside in that it's a trick on its own. It's a surprise blocker. And there we've got, I was also thinking with the Minotaur that it's going to help me curve out, but we've got another 3-drop in the Harpy, which I'll be taking here. Although the Unicorn is nice, it'd help me ramp into the 7-drop. The Flameseeker Adept is underwhelming. I'm not impressed by it. The only other cards of note in here I would say are the Unicorn for its ramp ability and the Nymph for its first strike ability, but I can't play the Nymph, so the Harpy is a pretty straightforward choice. Nothing at all in here bar this Hippocamp, so I kind of wish I had taken the Minotaur now, because I'm getting a bit heavy on 4-drops. So here, I mean, sure enough, the black cards came back to me. What was the other one? The Intimidate guy, as well as an Aqueous Form, which is going to count towards devotion for Master of Waves. Now, an interesting thought here is that as I'm drafting black really heavily, I don't think anyone else is. Red is going to be the really only form of direct removal, and Master of Waves has protection from it. Here we go, look at all this black that's come back to me. So I think in terms of what we pick here, it's got to be the Cavern. I'm really not impressed with this. But then I suppose, oh, look, I've got one already. No, we're definitely taking this. You know, this is a card I'm definitely not running 2 of, even if I was blue. So this is an obvious pick for the Phalanx. This is pretty much where I want to be with, so far as I'm aware, this is where I want to be with my 2-drops. Nothing particularly of interest here. I guess the most scary thing is this, because I've never seen Messenger Speed used in this format. And the artifact's just terrible. Lost in Labyrinth's not too shady. I mean, it's not going to make the deck here. You've got to take the Foil Mountain Homer offered it. And the Swamp. So let's get rid of Lust and Labyrinth. Probably don't want to be playing this either. Dark Betrayal is definitely in the sideboard. And look at this, what have we got? It's just getting silly here. The Spear is a really good card in Limited, at least I think so. I really like how it slows down my opponents left, right and centre. The Ordeal of Nyla I like in Limited because it helps you search for land, it helps you ramp into, put them onto the battlefield. Yep, it's a ramp card. So even if you play this on turn 3, or if you're lucky turn 2, turn 5, you've got 7 lands. Fanatic Amogus is just a solid card. The Phalanx Leader is phenomenal, but you really have to be drafting a deck round about him. There's a Minotaur, and Lightning Strike is another phenomenal card. And we've got another Harpy. This is actually a really good pack for draft, at least in my opinion. It's a really good pack. If this was first pick, it would be the Spear followed by the Lightning Strike, no, Spear, Fanatic, Phalanx, Lightning Strike. Possibly that's the order I would do it in. As it stands, we're going to take the Harpy here, which is going to give me 3 turn 3 flyers, which is not a bad thing. Now we've got, this is the obvious pick for me, Grey Merchant. Hopefully, because I've drafted black so heavily, there's not too many of these floating about. And because I have drafted black so heavy, when this comes into the battlefield it should make an impact. And in addition, it lets me increase my devotion quite a bit for this guy. Also of note in this pack, in my opinion, is the Staunch Hearted Warrior. I think if you're playing a trick deck, then this guy just gets huge very quickly. The Destructive Revelry I like, but I don't pick it highly. In fact, I don't pick any of these uncommons highly. The Staunch Hearted Grey Merchant, I like this as a 23rd card. The Chimera is a solid blue card. I'm a big fan of it. That's pretty much it. So these 3 cards in this pack are my favourite. In terms of pick order, it really depends on what I've drafted so far. If it was pack 1, I'd probably take the Grey Merchant, because you're just not going to see another one of them. So here we have Coastline Chimera, the Charlatan, Scourge Mag. There's really nothing impressive in black. The Chimera is just exceptionally slow. He's never going to be an aggro strategy. Green and red are definitely getting something out of this. I mean, I've never got a problem taking this card. I tend not to play this if I can avoid it, because it's very underwhelming. The Savage Surge is a solid trick. In fact, I think if the Charlatan wasn't here, I don't know what I'd take. This is pretty poor. This is the sort of pack I like to get when I've already got the kind of basis of a deck for me to build around. And I think we're going to take the Charlatan. I mean, if we do get silly mana wise, then I suppose I can copy Lash of the Whip. Apart from that, he's a 3 mana 2/3. So we'll pick him up. Now we've got some cards I like. This is a very nice pack. Timorate the Murder King. Sack another creature, and the Murder King deals 2 damage to target player. Sack creature, return him from your graveyard to your hand. He's cute, I suppose. He doesn't really do much. It's a cute trick to have. Warrior's Lesson I'm really impressed with. I like the fact that it triggers Heroic. I like the fact that green can draw cards off of it. However, I'm not green. And again, this Emissary, which I've already said I love. The Band Centres I don't rate. The said Scorpion's okay. My pick here, do I want another Read the Bones or another Return Centre? I think we take Read the Bones here. I mean, looking up here, we get 19 creatures already. This is 23 cards now. This is probably right about where the deck wants to be. I really don't need another 4-drop creature. Oh, I thought that was another Grey Merchant there. It's unfortunate. So here we've got a Chimera, which I'm definitely more inclined to take than anything else. I've said before, this guy's very slow, although that being said, he is going to help towards devotion. and he is going to let me pick a bomb out of my opponent's hand if he's holding one. Or we could take the trick. What's happening in turn 4 here? I think we really might need to make a decision about Master of the Waves. There's just not a lot of blue for him to trigger here. But then if we take the Chimera, then he's worth keeping in. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna be greedy. Maybe that's the wrong pick. We get another Shipwreck Singer, so this is the obvious pick for me here. Other cards I know, I like this as being because it's common, and true to its nature, green has big stupid guys with trample. The Titan Strength I don't mind too much. The Battle-Wise Valor I'm a fan of taking. The Satire is okay, but again, green and tends to be a deck where you're just looking to ramp up into things like this, and you have to be building towards that. So at this stage of the draft, that the Shipwreck Singer is the obvious pick. I'm actually probably looking to drop out a 2-drop at this stage. What do we pick from here? I mean, I probably don't want to run this guy. We do probably need to make a cut. Yeah, I think we've got to get rid of some of the blue here. I mean, I probably won't run these if we can avoid it. Here we're going to we'll pick up the Cutthroat Maneuver because creatures, I've already got 20 after hiding those two. In terms of what we want to take here, we could take the other enchantment. It's going to give me Devotion to Black if I choose to play it. At this point I've hidden the previous one. Or we can take something that might actually help my opponents. So if someone's drafting a Minotaur deck, I don't want them to have this. So we're going to take this. There's another Minotaur. We're hoping not to play these, so I'm definitely not picking this up. And we can hide this guy. So we're kind of floating right about where we want the deck to be. To be honest, I think if this was my deck, I'd be happy with it. I'm going to pick up the... I'm going to go ahead and pick up the Sedge Scorpion actually, because I don't need the Minotaur. The Sedge Scorpion can actually kill one of my dudes. So here, I mean, I'm not surprised to see none of the uncommons have been taken. I am going to go ahead and take I suppose, maybe they'll get a good bestow creature or artifact. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take the Annul, but it will be in the sideboard. Here we can take, I suppose, the Scourge Mark, although that being said, we are running quite a few artifacty dudes. Sorry, enchantment dudes, so I'm going to hate draft the Fade. Again, hate draft the thing that destroys the artifact. I guess we take this because it's scarier than the 1/1. And the Triton Thief with an island. Okay, so that was the draft. That was the draft section. Let's go. I'll include deck construction in this as well. And then I'll stop, and then I'll record each of the matches individually. So FOD, if you want to have finish watching this video, and then you can either let me know what you think or watch the matches and decide if it's my drafting that's at fault or if it's mistakes I'm making during the game. So we're just waiting on the computer to decide to let me go to deck construction. There's quite a few things that I can see here already that I'm going to be happy to take out. So these guys are definitely in. I mean, having 2 of these is going to be ridiculous. We're not interested in this. This guy can come in. The Snow, let's put him in just now. And this, and this, and this. Let's play both of these. Both of these. Yeah, okay, we can have a trick. We definitely want these. This. And I don't want this. That's me right up there at 18. So 5 more guys to go. Let's see what's actually like in terms of the blue cards that we picked up. So this is actually not bad. So this is what my curve's like. We get 5, 5, 6, 4, 1. And we've got a space for something else. Although with the deck being so reliant on having something on turn 4 and turn 5, it might be wise to run with 18 land. It's also going to mean that hopefully I shouldn't be mana screwed to hit this guy, so let's just see what we're looking at. So we're looking at 5 tricks here. Well, 1 trick, 2 removal and 2 cards that are going to let me draw deeper. I think I can probably run 17 lands, but then that's going to add another 4 drop, because none of the other cards I'm interested in running. I suppose possibly an annul, and the hope that they're playing enchantments, but a lot. I mean, I really want to see the deck before I add something like that. If you just bear with me 2 seconds. So, sorry about that. So, okay, what stage we're at? 23rd card. I think given that the curve of my deck is later rather than it is earlier, although I should have enough creatures that I'm not struggling in the early game, I think I'm going to run with 18, and one of them is going to be the Unknown Shores, just because these 2 drops are dependent on having 1 of each mana. It is primarily black, so I'm actually going to count this as my 23rd card, and let's see what the stats say about the deck. So there we go, we can see the mana curve. The average cost is 3.5. We get 20 black symbols versus 7 blue. Yeah, I think this is the right way to go. 60% of the deck's creatures. So let's see what Magic the Gathering Online suggests. So this is way too few islands. I think we're going to go ahead and go with 10 swamps, 7 islands, because I definitely want to draw at least one of them. And late game I want to draw a second one, although this will help. So we're going to go ahead with this. I think this is the correct way to build it. The Charlatan's really unimpressive in this deck. I suppose it gets me double Read the Bones, double Cutthroat Maneuver some of the time. Very unlikely to get me double Lash the Whip. So no, he shouldn't be in here. The Scroll Thief, no. Lust and Labyrinth, no. Sideboard. Seeker's Revenge is an option. I mean, this guy, maybe it is this guy instead of the extra land. It's just going to be a blowout. Or maybe we could drop a Read the Bones. In fact, if anything, we should probably be dropping a creature here, should we not? With 17. We could probably get rid of one of these guys. And then go with the Revenge. And that way we're keeping the additional land in, which means I'm more likely to hit this as well. Yeah, I think this is how I'm going to do it. If you disagree, by all means let me know in the comments below. VOD, you can PM me. I mean, I get to this stage very often in a Theros Draft where I've built a deck and I'm relatively confident in it, you know, it curves out well, it's got threats, it's got bombs. Most of my decks look this good at this stage, but it just, I swear to you, I've played about 30 drafts and I've cashed once in a 4-3-2-2, getting 2 boosters. That's it. It's 29 losses to 1 win in game 1. And you know, that's a fundamental error in my drafting. To go from 1850 of a rating down to, what was it, 1538? 1558 is marginal. You know, it's horrific. So I'm making a mistake somewhere, and I don't know what it is. And it's only been with this set. My rating just went up and up and up and up with Avison Restored and RTR, and now it's just plummeted. And it's a fundamental mistake I'm making somewhere. So I need to iron it out. But this is the deck I'm going to run with. So I'm going to submit this, and we'll see you in game 1.